questions? All right.
I have a question. I'd first like to know about those jump hooks. They looked really good. I hadn't seen them a lot before. Do you do them left and right-handed?
Yeah, I get some tape from when I played in Milwaukee. I mean, I don't shoot the balls much here, but he's still capable of making some shots. Still work on it every day, so at one point in my career, that was kind of my go-to move was both my hooks. So I'm definitely not uncomfortable doing it.
Is there something about this match where you felt you needed to be more aggressive offensively, or is that just the way the game?
I don't think so. I mean, look, I fell into a lot of them. Our offense is predicated on ball movement. We don't really ISO a lot of guys, so it's not like I was saying, hey, when Clay come off, look for bows or whatever. Like, it just comes in the flow of play. So, that's my open shots and I made them.
What was the communication of any bigs? Is that something you pride yourself on?
Yeah, I mean.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think to be, in the league, like the all defensive teams and all that, they're also stat predicated. There's a huge value that franchises know about guys that communicate, guys that are in the right spots. You could block 4 shots a game, but you could also, give up 4 offensive rebounds in a row a game because you're trying to block a shot. So it comes down to communication's a huge part of it. It's a thing that doesn't get credit statistics-wise. Being in the right spot at the right time. And, I want to make sure guys like Steph and Clay aren't getting nailed by guys like Plumlee or Ed Davis, because if I don't call a screen, not only is Lillard going to come up wide open for a shot, I mean, the guy could get hurt. So me and Draymond do a good job of covering up for each other. We know we can overhelp in certain spots on the floor. It seems like every time I go to help, Draymond's got my back and vice versa, and that's why we're top 5, top 10 defensive team this year.
It seems like you really want to try and set a tone
yeah, especially mainly defensively. I mean, I think it's very important that we don't give up just layups early on in games. If we give up layups to guys like Lillard and McCollum and they start feeling good about themselves, all of a sudden those threes are, they open up the basket for guys like that, guys that are scorers. You see it with Clay and Steph all the time. If they have a bad shooting night and they hit some free throws or get to the lane, all of a sudden it changes their fortune. So I'm trying to protect the paint and make sure they get nothing easy early, and then we'll live with the results.
Is it difficult if they're funneling stuff to the middle? Is it more difficult against guys like that who are kind of creative and kind of shifty and kind of get into your body a little bit?
Yeah, it is. But it takes a toll on them too. Both those guys play 40+ minutes. Their rotation is 8 if 9 at times. So we think over the course of a series, if they're coming in there and getting banged around, even if they are fouls, we're happy to do that. The thing with Lillard and McCollum is dangerous. We don't want them getting walk-up threes, and we don't want them getting easy layups. So everything in between that, we're kind of okay with at this point.
Critical during the season as the playoffs essentially ended that.
Yeah. I said, I mean, look, I don't know. At times in the season, you don't want to get hit as much. You guys probably aren't, as physical maybe because it's a long run of the season. You're trying to stay healthy. You might be a little banged up already. Mentally you're probably a little tired. All you guys asking us about 70 wins every day, all that kind of stuff. So I knew we'd get it back, but it kind of is a bad habit though to have that switch. But we still want 73 games doing it, so I guess something like that. Okay.
You saw you grabbing your chest. What happened there?
Nothing.
How key is it for you to have days like between games feel good as a veteran player?
That's good for me. I mean, we've got a big turnaround tomorrow, but we have that huge break between 2 and 3. Obviously, we can get our MVP back too, hopefully. That's been a blessing. It's nice to get that little break. And I think once the playoffs come around, it's not as much as a grind because you don't have back-to-backs and you're not traveling as much. So people, guys like myself and some older guys, you get some more time to just get off the leagues and relax a little bit.
Draymond does so much for you guys, and he certainly got the attention of everyone around the league. Steve Kerr just said he's a top 10 player in the NBA right now. Do you agree with where he belongs and the best players in the game?
I think just because he's not the best scorer, he's not the best shooter, but I think things that he does in every aspect of the game is what makes him one of the. I said it yesterday. I stick to it. I got some criticism for it, but I think one of the best, if not the best, all-around players in the game. Yeah, I mean, people, obviously want to compare him with superstars, but I don't see a lot of superstars defending multiple positions like he does, defending post-ups, grabbing rebounds, setting good screens, being, one of the smarter guys on the court, and then still knocking down shots and knocking down threes and all that. I mean, he's an all-around utilities guy. He just knows how to play. He's a huge part of our success. I mean, we have a lot of guys like that. His stats are only really showing up the last season or two with the triple doubles and that, but even before that, we knew his value is even outside of that. As teammates and people within the organization, we value guys that do the little things that don't show up on stat sheets. It's just a matter of now everyone can see it in the media because he's putting up big numbers.
What's the key to timing on your practice at, or is it just a good
yeah, you can't. It's hard to practice. I think it just comes with knowing the game. Watching a lot of film as a young fella, and the defensive 3 seconds makes it a little tricky. So you got to know when to come and go, kind of, and when you can clog the paint and when you can't. But for me, I try to get there as late as possible, which means I do get dunked on every now and then. So be it. The Houston series was a different beast. I couldn't leave Dwight's body early to go block a shot because they were just throwing that thing at the rim, and he's very athletic and just throws it down. Whereas, this series I can leave a little bit earlier, so you got to kind of know who you're guarding, who's coming in the lane. And a lot of it is just getting off your feet as quick as possible and straight up.
You really had to wind up on the Plumlee block yesterday. You got particularly high on that one.
Yeah, he took off from a fair way out, so he showed me the ball early enough. And sometimes you might be on a poster, but I think 9 times out of 10 I might be on ESPN for a week, but. Sorry, 1 time out of 10, 9 times out of 10 I'm going to block it, so I've got no problem with that. But, one thing I figured out as a young fella was it's not blocking shots isn't necessarily about how high you can jump, which a lot of young people think it's, the guys that can jump out of the roof and block shots. No, it's getting off your feet very, very quickly and being in the right position. So if you do that, you can be just average athletically and still block some shots.
As pretty good screen setters already, are you even more cognizant of it with knowing that Clay's going to be more of a focal point? You got to get him off. You got to get him open looks off the screens.
I'm just trying to nail anybody who's guarding anybody really. So if I have a free reign and set a good screen, I'm going to set it. And I know. Going back to the question earlier about the hook shots, I mean that's why I got some of those shots yesterday was by setting good screens because they jump out on Clay or Andre or whatever it is, and I kind of just roll 5-6 feet and I'm wide open. So, but I know if we can get Clay and those guys going with feet set open shots, it makes life easier for everybody else.
Andrew, I thought I noticed when Dwight Howard and yesterday against Plumlee at the tip at the very beginning, you don't seem to acknowledge them or fist bump them or anything. And I wonder, is there a tactic, is there a strategy involved with that?
No, they don't acknowledge me or fist bump me.
I understand that. Are you? If they did, you would acknowledge them?
Yeah, I mean you got to ask them that question.
I'm asking you the question.
Would I?
Yeah.
Oh, if they put their fist out, I'll most
But
likely.
why don't you put yours out?
Because in Australia we shake hands, we don't fist bump.
Do you shake hands with them?
No, because they want to fist it. So it's a bit confusing, like it ends up being like this. So we can't really, we shake hands like firmly. We don't do all the hang on and all that stuff. And then they want to fist. So you just end up just standing there like, just shake, do we hug, so just let it go, just play basketball. Does that answer your question?
I think you're having me on.
You think?
I do.
No, it's just confusing, there's a lot of different handshakes,
Okay.
different cultures,
I'm going to ask you another question.
Yeah.
When you were playing against Howard, you kept going like this, pushing him like that.
I did?
Yes, you did. And he didn't like it, and he kept pushing your hand away.
Oh, yes. I was just trying to tag him for defensive 3 seconds. Honestly, this one's, basically I want to feel where he's at. So if the ball's on one side and he's on the weak side, I'm looking at the ball, I want to be able to feel his body, obviously. That's just defense 101. If I can't feel him and he slides behind me, I'm getting dunked on. So
I understand, but when he slaps your hand and doesn't like it,
just put it back.
you just put it back. Why do you put it back?
Because I want to feel where my offensive player
Are you
is.
doing the same thing with Plumlee?
Yeah, do the same thing with everybody. When you're guarding in the paint with defensive 3 seconds, number one, you have to be, if you're in the paint, you have to be touching somebody to reset that 3 second call. And number two, like I said, if I'm looking at the ball, I want to feel where my offensive player is. So if I don't feel where he is, I turn my head, he's cutting behind me, and I'm going to try to block a shot.
Last question. Are you annoying on the court?
Depends who you ask.
I'm asking you.
Possibly, yeah.
Do you
I'm
mind?
an asshole, if you want to use that word.
You are an asshole?
Yeah. 100%.
Can we put that in, asshole?
Why
I
not?
think so.
Ask,
Yeah.
ask surely.
Asshole. And what makes you an asshole?
Well, there's a bunch of factors. I mean, I'm a foreigner, so that's number one. It gets you voted in the top 5 dirtiest. I just tell it like it is. So, you know, whatever. I don't really care what people label me as, and a lot of people label me as that. So, people that know me know I'm very sarcastic and have a sense of humour. The people that don't think I'm an asshole. So,
I think you're a good asshole.
so do I.
Yeah.
Ray's freaking out on me.
Have you been labeled in the top 5 dirtiest?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? Always?
No, just some guy in the LA Times that polled like 3 children and 5 high school guys. You know, ended up getting voted in the top 5. So it was a great poll, though. It was great journalism too. Yeah, it was very, very interesting. You guys didn't see that? It was a huge story in the LA Times. 4 out of 5 guys were foreign guys.
Andrew,
That's just jealousy. I mean, we're a great team. Steph's a huge part of what we do, and obviously he makes everybody better. I mean, does LeBron James make Tristan Thompson better? I mean, does Kevin Durant make Steven Adams better? I mean, it's a pointless argument. People are just jealous of Draymond's success, and they want to take hot shots at him, and guys on our team saying you guys wouldn't be as good without X, Y, Z. But the fact of the matter is, we have X, Y, Z, and we're pretty good. So. It's just stupid in my opinion. That's social media for you. That's why my Twitter stock's going down the gurgler, because people are just, there's no filters, you know. So my Twitter stock's just really plummeting right now.
It's like you're 3 pumpers in this one.
One for 2 though is still pretty good. 50%.
What was your thought process on
I like
taking
this.
He's getting worried.
I know, he's getting nervous.
What was your thought process on taking that shot?
Low shot clock. I fumbled the ball, so it was clock and it was down, so I had to just throw it up there.
you made that.
It hit the ring though, hit the rim, so.
The bench was about to go crazy.
Yeah, I bet they will. I bet they'll go crazy. But,
He's getting worried because he
makes
said
sense.
asshole.
what's that? Oh yeah, we say ring in Australia. We don't say ring. You get me in trouble with the PR people down there. Anybody else?
I'm
One
going
last
to get you
question.
in trouble
Yeah.
nationally.
How incredible is it? Steph goes off and he's unconscious and you can't miss. And then you have 2 players. And Clay goes off. You can feel it. How incredible is that to have a guy like Clay just step right in, pick up that scoring, but you know when he's on.
Oh, those 2 guys are game breakers. I've said it from the start. They can be 0 for 20 going into the second half, and then have a 3-minute burst and get the lead from 1 point to 15 in a matter of seconds. So having guys around them that know when we feel when that's going on. So me and Draymond, like, hey, let's set some screens to get some handoffs and try to nail their guys and keep getting them open. And that's why we have a great team, because we know when that button gets turned on, that switch gets turned on, it's danger time. And you see a lot of good coaches that we play against. Those guys hit 1 or 2 of those shots. It's a quick timeout, and that's kind of the only way to really stymie that run.
Have you ever played with kind of a defensive soul brother?
The closest was probably Luke Marbute in Milwaukee, who was an all-league defender in my opinion in that period, and we had a great relationship, much like Draymond and I. Draymond's a better offensive player than Luke was, but they're similar in the fact that they're undersized guys playing the 4-5. We could switch a lot. We had a good communication basis, and we did a lot of good work down there.
How would Draymond do in Australia? You ever want to take him down
As
there?
far as what?
Just take him around.
Might talk a little too much for Australians, so we need to tone him down a little bit. But no, I mean they love him. If he comes down with me, they love him. If he goes out with someone else, probably not as much.
You guys have a reputation as being such a nice team. Is it be an asshole on a team like that?
I mean, you need a bit of both. We have a lot of nice guys that guys like me and Draymond need to protect, but guys that don't like a lot of that conflict. So we want to make sure that we have their backs at all times. But the most successful teams in league history have had a good mix of everything. Had a good mix of guys that nice guys, killer instinct guys, and guys that are physical and not afraid to mix it up.
Has anybody ever called you a word?
Yeah.
So when do you come back?
Go to my social media after every game.
So when do you come back?
All right, we're good, guys. Time to move on.
So worried.
He's worried. He's really liking it.
Oh, God.
I know, he's